ملت‌ها بیدار شدند. بدانید اقیانوس خشم ملت‌های منطقه به تلاطم خواهد آمد و ریشه رژیم صهیونیستی را از بیخوبان برخواهد کرد.
Islam's view of the world. Islam versus the West.
They want to drive America and our coalition out of Iraq and the Middle East so they can stop the advance of freedom and impose their dark vision on the people of the Middle East.
Western misconceptions of Islam. From the inception of Islam, the Christian West has had difficulty understanding Islam as a different religious phenomenon than Christianity. When Muslims conquered the Iberian Peninsula in the 8th century, Christians referred to Muslims arriving from North Africa as Moors. Over the centuries, Spaniards continued to refer to Muslims as Moors even if they were from India or Indonesia. In the rest of Europe, Muslims were referred to as Turks. In Asia Minor, Christians referred to Muslims as Tartars, an ethnic name. When Europeans finally understood that Islam was not an ethnic group, they mistakenly perceived it in terms of a Western religious group. In the early 1900s, Europeans began referring to Islam as Mohammedanism and Muslims as Mohammedans, incorrectly assuming the Prophet Muhammad had the same role in Islam that Jesus did in Christianity. To this day, misunderstandings continue. Westerners describe the mosque as a Muslim church, equate the Muslim Friday to the Christian Sunday, refer to the Quran as the Muslim Bible, and believe sheikhs to be Muslim priests.
The conflict in Gaza and the West Bank today is a struggle between extremists and moderates.
Also, Westerners mistakenly resort to their own worldview by grouping Muslim leaders as left and right wing, moderate, conservative, and radical. Freedom, justice, and peace. So different are Western and Muslim worldviews that identical words can have two different meanings.
We are now in the early hours of this struggle between tyranny and freedom.
یک خاورمیانه آزاد بدون وجود سلطه آمریکا و انگلیس است.
In the West, freedom is the ability of individuals to participate in the formation, conduct, and lawful removal of governments from power, the basis of constitutionalism and parliamentary government. For the Islamic world, ruled by foreign powers in modern times, freedom meant national independence from foreign rule, which they equated with tyranny. In the West, the opposite of tyranny is freedom. In Islam, the opposite of tyranny is justice. For Muslim thinkers, justice is the ideal.
I am looking for peace. I am struggling for peace. But a just peace.
All of us, the sons and daughters of Abraham, living in a tent of peace again.
لن يكون اسما على مسمى ما لم يكن قائما على العدالة.
As for the word peace, Westerners have liberal and romantic images of harmony between groups or nations. In Arabic, the modern definition of salam simply means an absence of conflict, more like the word truce in English. The Arabic word sulh, defined as reconciliation, is much closer to the Western definition of peace. For example, the Arab-Israeli conflict was in a state of salam between 1956 and 1967 from a Muslim point of view. Yet there was no peace from a Western point of view. Nationalism. Christianity's solution. During the Dark Ages, European civilization endured 500 years of stagnation and decline due to the dominance of the Catholic Church in Europe. Next, strife between Catholics and Protestants threatened to destroy Christian society. Finally, Christianity saved itself by separating church and state and introducing the concept of nationalism, a nation-state based on geographic boundaries, ethnicity, and language to determine personal identity and political loyalty. Nationalism and the expulsion of the church from government was a success. It resurrected Christian Europe from decline. 300 years of world domination began with the discovery of the Americas, then the Industrial Revolution, as Europe led the world into the era of modernity. Europe also exported its Western culture and concept of nationalism to the entire world. However, nationalism, which evolved from Christianity's historic trials, would never integrate successfully into the world of Islam, where loyalty could only be to God, the sovereign of the world and all mankind. Islamic identity.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
Understanding the centrality of Islam in the lives of Muslims is the key to understanding Islam. For Muslims, the foundation of identity and loyalty revolves around religion, while the religio-political community defines nationhood. Religion distinguishes those who belong to the society from those who are outside of it. In 1917, the Grand Vizier of the Ottoman Empire stated, "The fatherland of a Muslim is the place where the holy law of Islam prevails." An Egyptian Muslim, for example, feels closer bonds to a Pakistani Muslim than to an Egyptian Christian, as Muslims of different countries, even speaking different tongues, have a shared feeling of a divinely guided past and a sense of a mutual plight and destiny. The Ummah, political authority and communal life. For Muslims, the true and sole sovereign is God, from whose mandate the Prophet Muhammad derived his authority, and from whose will, made known by revelation, is the sole source of political and religious law. The political community of Islam is known as the Ummah. From its inception, the Ummah was the fusion of politics and religion. The Prophet Muhammad founded and presided over an Islamic government as prophet and head of a state, and founded an empire whose followers understood worldly success and military victory were part of divine affirmation. Therefore, the teachings of Islam have social and political goals with the purpose of succeeding in this world, in politics, warfare, diplomacy, and economics. Consequently, in Islam, religion is not merely one segment of life. It regulates the total domain. In Islam's view of the world,